G'day, hey, hi, and welcome. Okay, this is another one of those voiceover videos. Again, I don't have the mic attachment for my GoPro yet. I tried to get one. I don't have the money for it right now, but I tried to get one, and they were out of stock, so this is why I do the voiceovers. But you get to see some of the footage from my nice Triumph TT600, which I just did ride number 92. It is now, at the making of this video, it is the 29th of October. Of 2017, and the seasonal, the season's changing. It's now getting kind of cold. I mean, the bike's getting hard to start. You gotta coax it to keep it running until it warms up, type of thing. Battery hasn't been dead yet, but there's some mornings there's definitely frost at night now, so it's like I'm gonna have to pull that battery. Although my bike sits in a garage, so it should be okay for a little bit while, but I by the time I get November, I will be pulling the bike off the road. Pretty sure there's probably going to be a lot of snow on the ground by that time. Well, it's only a couple of days from now, but the weather's changing. So at this time of the year, you gotta, especially if you're in northern climates like me. I'm up here in Canada, the top of the world. There's a few procedures that you want to do with your bike. You want to definitely get it winterized, and you can grab a pen and a paper. If you want to pause the video, grab a pen and a paper. This might help you a bit. Especially people who've had bikes for a while know what to do, but some people that are new to it, there's a few things that they might overlook if they're trying to winterize their bike. Now, some people, what they do is they just park the bike in the garage, throw a blanket over top of it of some sort, and I'll see you in the spring. And you can do that, but especially if you're in a colder climate, when you do that, sometimes in the spring when you go to start your bike, you're going to have all kinds of problems. Number one, your battery's going to be dead. So the first thing you should do when you're winterizing your bike is clean your bike. Just clean it. Doesn't matter what kind of bike it is. Clean it. Make it nice and sparkly and shiny. And then as soon as you're done doing that, you can pull your battery if you'd want, but you don't have to do that quite yet. What you should do is then check your tire pressure. And maybe throughout the winter, you might want to do this, check your, because it will go low just from the fluctuations in temperature. I mean, in one day it could be minus 20, one day minus 40, the next day, and then up to plus 10 the day after, or minus 4 or something, not plus 10, but minus 10 or minus 4. Your tires are going to be completely flat by spring, pretty much. My tires on this bike were pretty much brand new, but the front tire went down to like 10 pounds, the back tire went down to like 25 by spring. But I monitored through the winter. The other thing you want to do is, just before you park the bike, is take the bike for whenever you think planned last run is going to be. Run the bike, get it warm, change your oil. Change your filter. There's an oil filter screen that you can change on some bikes. Every bike's got its thing. Consult your manual for it, if not, or you can get a shop to winterize your bike. But this is mainly for people who are going to winterize the bike themselves. So there's a little oil screen that you can usually locate somewhere on the crankcase. You can take that out, you can clean it when you change your oil. It's a good idea to do that, because that thing does, it does catch metal shavings and everything like that. Usually it's near your oil pump, but if you have an oil pump in there. But the thing is that the idea behind it is to keep the shavings out of your, that's the time to get it. If you're like me and you've got a bike with a radiator, consult your manual again. There is a procedure to flushing your radiator. It's a little different from bike to bike, but the concept's the same. And you got to flush the whole system pretty much, which is not really hard to do. But remember, you got to keep in mind you're going to have a lot of fluids coming out of the bike when you do this. And when you do this, you might want to make sure that you have enough storage containers for this. So, if you want to, you're probably going to have to pay a small fee to dispose of it at a garage somewhere. So just plan all that stuff out ahead of time, you'll be okay. But If not, just don't open the drain until until you're ready. Make sure you have enough capacity for the radiator, because there's a lot more fluid in there than it looks. That type of thing. So, and you don't want that stuff all over your garage or driveway or whatever, because it's quite slippy, dangerous, and messy and all that stuff. The next thing you do after you change the fluids is at that point you can fill the gas tank full, just about to the very, very, very top, and you can put fuel preserver in there. Now, some people say with fuel injection bikes you might not want to use fuel preserver because it might gum up in the springtime, it might gum up the jets. I didn't have any problem doing it last year, but one of the things I will be doing this year is pulling the tank off my bike and taking all the injectors out and cleaning them and doing all that stuff, put them back in, then I'll put the fuel in the bike for me. Maybe you'll do that, maybe you won't, but if you're just going to store it, you think the fuel injectors are good, unless you've got it carbureted, then you don't have to worry about it. Just put some fuel saver in there. Stuff's not very expensive, and it keeps your fuel from kind of varnishing up on you, which takes a long time for that to happen, but it just makes it easier to start in the spring. So you can do that. Once you've got that done, then after that, it's basically wax your chain if you've got a chain. If you've got a shaft drive bike, change the oil in there. I think you could look. Sometimes it's every 2 years that you change it. Sometimes it's every year. Really, sometimes you just go by the mileage. Whatever it is, you'll make your decision on that. But that's the time to drain the fluids for that too. Brake fluids. Read your manual. Mine, it says about every 2 years to do it. And that, so I know all the fluids in my bike when I bought it, because it came from a dealership. Everything was zero timed on it, so I don't have to worry about it as much. Your tires, if you were going to change your tires, sometimes the fall is a good time to buy motorcycle tires, because you can get stuff on clearance. You can get all kinds of good deals, because that the best time to buy stuff for your motorcycle is in the winter, because that's when all the good deals are, because everything's on sale just to keep the shop open, right? So if you're going to change your tires, it'd be a good time to do it is now, and then you have fresh tires for the spring. If you got a belt drive bike, same thing. Do that. Check out the condition of your belt, and if your belts, I know they used to be cheap, but belts they're very expensive now. But if you know what you're looking for, sometimes you can find a generic belt that's like half the price, or a tenth of the price sometimes. That type of stuff. If your bike needs a tune-up or anything like that, the time to do it is now. Then you have it done for the spring. So if you were going to do the winterization, maybe you take your bike. Sometimes you get a deal in the spring for spring tune-ups and stuff like that. But sometimes you get a fall, a fall deal too. Say, hey, I want my bike winterized, but before you winterize it, maybe have it, tune everything up. Do a valve check, all that stuff. Check your cam chain if you have a cam chain. Adjust your push rods if you have push rods. Whatever it might be. This is the best time to do that kind of stuff. Now, if you're like me and your bike, yes, it might be in a garage, but it's not a heated garage. It does sometimes make it difficult to work on these things when it's like minus 40. So you really probably don't want to hold off your winterization of your bike too late, or you probably won't do it. Once you're done all that, then pull the battery last. I'd pull the battery last. Check the condition of your battery. If you're like me and you have a lead acid battery, top it up. Put it on a charger. Some people just leave their bike because their garage is like semi-heated. It's like it never gets really cold in there, below freezing, but it's not really heated. They'll keep it on a trickle charge if they keep it in the bike, but it's a good idea. I'd probably put your battery in somewhere. Obviously you want to keep it away from a heat source. Do not put it directly on the ground. Maybe set it on a board or something like that, and then you can just get it charged up time to time. If you don't have your own battery charger, sometimes you can go to a garage, and for a small fee they might charge it up for you. And you maybe do this like midway through the winter. Little things like that goes a long way. Other things, like I say, providing everything is good on the bike. If there's brake pads that need to be changed, now's a great time to do it. Again, you could pull your wheels, and when you pull your wheels, pull your brakes. When you pull your brakes, like say you pull your wheels to have the tires changed, that's a good time to check out your brakes and stuff like that. And again, get it all now, and you could take 3 weeks or the whole winter to do this if you want, and then in the springtime you just turn the key, put the battery in, turn the key, and away you go. It's kind of nice to do that. That's what I did this season. This was my first season back on the road in 20 years, and I'll just say I've put on more mileage than I thought I did. Close to 5,000 or 6,000 kilometers that I put on. So that's a little over 3,000 miles that I put on. Considering I put the bike on the road in late July, and it's now October, and I'm almost got 100 runs. I got 92 runs out of 365 days. There's basically 92 days. A lot of days I had to ride between the raindrops, but I did get 92 days with an average of about 60 kilometers per trip. So that's about 40 miles. So that I got some good. I didn't get any really real good road trips on the bike this year, but I got out on it almost every day, so I'm pretty happy about that. Next year, I want to see if I can get at least minimum 120 days of riding in on the season. So that said, my tire wear is still good. The tires were brand new last year. So everything is pretty good on this bike for mine, but there is some things I want to check out. For example, I don't know if this is just a fuel injection thing, but especially in the past couple of weeks, I noticed the bike's been a little bit harder to start. It could be the fuel that I'm using. It could be just that the seasonal change, the air fuel mixture could be, maybe the fuel injection isn't running it right. Like the bike's fine when it runs, like when you get it started, but it's a little bit of a pain to get started now. So I think maybe that's just because it's been cooler out or whatever. So I want to check out that. Maybe I'll see if there's a fuel mapping issue I got to deal with. I'll deal with that, whatever. Again, change the oil, all that other stuff. So I'll leave it at about that. So anyway, that's just the basics of what you're going to have to do. I'll see if I can do a more detailed video later on. All right, have yourselves a great day.